Hi there, I'm Linda and this is Huttons Valley Permaculture. Well, it's a beautiful spring day in the middle of October, perfect for looking at bees. Today I'm going to check one of my hives and I thought maybe you'd like to see what the girls are up to. I've had my hives for about 5 years now. I started with the one hive and I managed to get 3 more hives from it. The little one down the end here is actually a swarm that I caught at a neighbour's house last year. So that hive is sort of my slowest hive. They're still building up their numbers and really getting going. 3 of my hives, these 2 here and this end one with the blue on top, I've just recently added the 3rd box too. They were a bit slower getting going than this one here, which, if you can see, I'm filming from a bit back because it's sort of in their flight path. There's a lot of activity. There was a lot of bees right through winter and I kind of picked it as going to be my most successful coming out of winter. And it certainly was. When I first went into the hives, it was almost completely full and I had to add a 3rd box straight away. The other hives were a bit behind it, and that's why I've only just added the 3rd box on. So today I need to get into what is my best hive at this point and see if they need a 4th box, and we'll take a bit of a look around. Now, one thing you might have been able to spot with that hive is the angle that it's at. If you are considering bees, really get your foundations right for putting your beehives onto before you get them. I've got those hives on a pallet that was kind of up on these little legs, and I'm afraid that they might have rotted a bit and the pallet's bowed, so it's kind of got a bit of a lean-to. I need to gather some beekeeping friends and redo the foundations and then put the hive back on, so that's going to be a project for over summer. Certainly worth putting in the time at the start to get your foundations really solid so these hives can be upright. One thing I will have to do while in there is clear some of these grasses and make it a bit easier for these girls flying home with their loads to get into the hive. Now just here I've got a spare box. I do store them in the house over winter because I've had mice kind of eat out all the wax frames. After you've spun out the honey, you are left with a frame that kind of looks like this, and it's pretty drawn out. And it just means that the bees don't have too much work to do to get that one ready for storing honey or pollen or whatever they want to put in there. So this box is pretty much drawn out. There are some frames that are more drawn out than the others, but it's certainly giving them something to get started with. We're going to start off with a bit of smoke in the front entrance and a little bit in the top, just to settle the girls down and let them know that something's happening. I will also just clear some of the grasses at the front while the smoke sort of does its job, and then we'll get in and see what's happening. I'll come back and clear those in the early morning. It'd be much easier. Lots of pollen going in there, which means there should be lots of brood. Now I've got my hives facing east. That's east, so they get the early morning sun, and then in the afternoon they get shaded by these trees out to the west. These trees also help shelter them from the westerly winds which come through here, and this beautiful banksia helps shelter them from northerly winds as well. So they've been doing pretty well in this location for a few years now. All right, let's get in and have a look and see what we've got. Now this is the honey super on top. Oh, they're nice and calm. I'll just pop that down and we'll just have a look. Now this is what I want to see, if it's getting full, we can add in another box. I might have to have a closer look at the frames. It doesn't look like we've got anything on the edge, these two, but maybe in that side. So if they've still just got the one to go, I wouldn't mind adding another box. Looks like they're working on that edge one. So there's a lot of bees over all of these frames. So I think probably another box would be a great idea. But let's open it up and see what we can see. Now I'll start by taking this end one out because it's got nothing on it. Get that one out of the way. So yep, still foundation, no drawn out comb on that. So I'll just take out one of these frames because I don't want to disturb them all. But we'll just have a look and see what they've been doing. So you can see there, glistening in the sunshine, all the beautiful nectar that these girls have been bringing in. So that's looking nice. And you can see up the top of that frame, they've started to cap the cells. So that honey's ready. We might just take a look at the next frame and make sure that there is plenty of honey being put in. I don't want to add a box prematurely. Oh yeah, that one's quite heavy. And you can see there that there's a lot of capped honey, and they'll probably be capping the rest of it soon. In spring, they seem to get this darker honey that's probably from the Tagasasti. I've got a lot of Tagasasti, and they bring a lot of that in over late winter and spring. And then what I find during summer is they start to bring in clover, which is a really light coloured honey, and blends with the Tagasasti really well. Now, there's shadows in there, but that frame next to it is just about all capped. So yeah, I think I'm happy to be adding another box onto this hive. So we'll put the frames back in here, and then we'll take a quick look down below and see what's happening there. Now I do have a queen excluder on, so there shouldn't be a queen up in this section. And what I might do, instead of replacing that frame that hasn't been drawn out at all, I'm going to add in one of the frames from the box we've brought out today, and put that in instead. So I've just grabbed that out of the box that we've got to add on top, and I'll put that one in here, and I'll put the foundation frame into the centre of the box that I'll add on top, so hopefully encourage them to draw it out. So pop that there for the moment, and we'll work at getting this box off, and we'll just have a quick look down below. Okay, we'll get that off. Oh, yep, there's honey loads in here. This is heavy as. Oh. Actually, I might just lift this whole box off, and we'll have a look down the bottom and see what's happening in that one. Then I can leave that excluder in place, which is probably propylized into position. I often find that they move around if I kind of keep lifting them off. Yeah, they haven't liked that. It's good to get in here every so often and just keep the hive sort of tidied up. They will join it into one big hive and it's really hard to manage. Now the queen could be either in this box or in the one that we've got here. So one thing you can look out for on the bottom of the box, which this is the presence of any queen cells, which would indicate that they want to swarm soon. You can just kind of touch the bees and they'll move off where you might want to see. Now they could be little queen cups at the bottom. It's a bit hard to sort of show you. Nothing in them, so I think it's looking pretty good. There are a few drone cells I can note there, but we'll leave that and we'll just have a quick look in this just so I can show you, you know, the brood and the pollen and what's going on a little bit in this box, and then we might just pack them up, put on the new box and be on our way. It's kind of nice to have a bit of a look inside sometimes too and make sure things are going as you expect them to. So usually the queen is more likely in the centre than on the outside. So I generally start with taking an outside one off first. And you can see there's nectar, a little bit of capped honey, and more honey there. The next one's a bit of honey. And I'll take this one out. We'll have a look at it. There's a bit of pollen. No brood at this point. Oh yeah, there's larva in there, so they'll probably be capping that soon. It's hard to see if there's eggs in the shadows. And I'll just have a look at this one. I'd like to see some cap brood, which would be nice, but it was good to see the young larva. If it's not capped yet, it means it's about 3 days old or younger. And here we go. We're getting into the cap brood now. So that's all looking beautiful. And there's plenty of larvae there yet to be capped. And on the other side there too. Now I have spotted queens at certain times, but I don't always get in here to do that. I just kind of check on the general health, and if the girls are sort of happy, then I figure they know their queen's there. And I'm just going to pack this hive up and be on my way because that's all looking pretty good. All right, we'll get the other frame back in. Just very slowly push it back in so you're not rolling too many of the bees. And if the queen did happen to be on that end one, you know, you don't want to risk harming her. We'll send them inside so we can get this other box back on without squashing too many. I mean, it's you always get some of these little girls, but if we can keep it to a minimum, it keeps everybody happier. I'll put the other brood box back on. This is where having good core strength helps. Not saying mine is, but it's developing with this sort of thing. All right, that's that one in place. And we'll get the honey box, the super, back on again. This is where you kind of can move the queen excluder around a bit if it's not propolized in place, which is why I don't really want to move it if I don't have to, because that honey super is very heavy and you don't want to be mucking around with that. Now I'm just going to add my new box on top and then the lid on top of that and secure it. And that locks it in nicely. That hive's looking pretty good. That was just about full, so I'm pleased that we've added the next box onto it. These girls will settle down soon as I've cleared off, but they've been pretty good today. No stings and no aggression, which is always nice. So we're just going to leave them to it. I hope you've enjoyed a quick look at my bees today. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now.